All right, welcome to Exus the Podquest. This is our first Rule of Three show. I'm really super excited about it. I'm going to start right now with our today's quote. It's going to be from Max Planck, and here goes. Science cannot solve the ultimate mystery of nature, and that is because, in the last analysis, we ourselves are part of that mystery. That's by Max Planck, and we'll see about that. I don't know. Who knows? Let's start out with our first topic. There are going to be three topics today, and this is why was there nothing rather than something? Of course, that's a twist on the famous and most important question in philosophy and in science, which is why is there something rather than nothing? That's the most famous question, but I'm twisting it around. Why was there nothing rather than something? And I'm looking at that from the perspective of ancient authors, the authors of the Bible, the Quran, even older texts, the Hindus. We're going to get into that in just a few minutes, just a couple of minutes, about where do these origin stories? And the question really boils down to this: why is it that these ancient authors, and it doesn't have to be only religion, there's other cultures as well. A lot of these a lot of these groups have origin stories. But my question is, really, why is it that they thought there was nothing and then suddenly, out of nowhere, there was something? Why do they even think that? I mean, if it was me, if I'm walking around out there, all right, I'm the first person in the world and the first person in some civilization. I'm walking around, I'm looking at everything, and I'm thinking, well, good God, I probably wouldn't even question it. It was either always there, or I don't know. I would never think that there was at some point a 0 point. There was nothing, and then somehow it popped into existence. But let's take a look at what the traditions, these ancient authors had to say. Let's start with the Jewish and Christian group. Of course, they have the Bible, and right out of the gate, of course, it says in the very first part, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. It says it right there. There's a creation. It's not like everything was there all the time. God created it from nothing. Then the Muslim religion, the Quran, says Allah created the heaven and the earth and all that was between them in 6 days. Now, of course, they put a number on it, and we know from the Bible as well, there's also a 6-day period. But the core piece here is that there was nothing, and then suddenly God or Allah or whoever, some force, created something out of nothing. The Hindu religion, they have many stories, many origin stories. It's not like they have one. It's not like the Jewish folks and the Christian and the Muslim folks. They have not a single creation story, but many. I'm going to read this from the BBC. It says, for Hindus, the universe was created by Brahma, the creator who made the universe out of himself. So again, it's very similar, but it's got slight difference, but it's similar where you've got nothing, then you've got something, and here you've got God in their eyes, Brahma, creating everything out of himself. All right? The Shinto religion is one of the dominant, if not the dominant, religion in Japan, and it says it's got a sacred text, and I'm going to butcher the name of it because I don't know how to pronounce it, but I believe it's the Kahiki or Kajiki. I don't know. I apologize to the Shinto religion for not knowing the exact pronunciation, but it says this about creation. All was chaos before the heavens and the earth came into existence. All was shapeless mass. Something light and transparent rose up and formed the heaven. Again, very similar to the other traditions. Right? If you go back further, or if you go back into even sideways, you go to a different group altogether, Zoroastrianism. Right? No one even really knows about that too much, but there's still 120,000 followers today, approximately, and they have a text. It's known as the Bundahishan, and from there it says this: in the beginning, there was nothing in the world except Ahura Mazda. And it goes on. One day, Ahura Mazda decided to make different creations. First, he shaped the sky, and then it goes on from there. He created everything else. Again, very similar to the other creation stories where you've got nothing, and then suddenly an outside force, God, Allah, the forces of the gods of Brahma from Hindu, and now Ahura Mazda from the Zoroastrianism tradition. You got a creation out of absolutely nothing. But it's, again, I said before, it's not strictly religious. If you go to the Native American Indian, culture, you've got, again, a bunch of creation stories. And I'm going to read this from study.com. This is out of an online article. Native American creation stories share the belief that something or someone was responsible for the creation of the world and its inhabitants. Some believe that a divine being was involved, while others adhere to a faith in an ancestral animal creator of the natural world. Again, you've got the same thing. How in the world is it, how in the world is it that you've got all these people all over the world, the ancient cultures, ancient authors, ancient thinkers are thinking somehow there was nothing and then bam, something came into existence. I mean, you don't really even see anyone if you look back, you don't see any text. There isn't any philosophy. There's no real argument that, look, everything already existed and it was just this way all the way through. It's almost always a creation. And I say almost always because there are some exceptions. The Buddhist religion's a great one. That's the biggest example probably. There's the Jainist religion, Jainism, as well as Taoism. Those are traditions and those are religions in the world. And some people believe more philosophies than religions. But nevertheless, they don't have a creation story. So there is some, but it's not the same thing as I'm thinking. It's not like they're thinking, well, everything was there. They have more of a cyclical kind of a concept. And again, it's going back to the majority of the traditions, majority of the religions say there was nothing. Somehow it got created out of nothing. All right. So you ask, well, why is that? And of course, there's a lot of good answers to that. All right. One of them is, well, because God or some other creative force told them that that's how it happened. If you look at the Quran, for example, that's supposed to be the exact word of God given to Muhammad, and therefore he told exactly how it happened. Same thing with the Bible. Although it's not the exact word of God, it's inspired by God. At least that's the way the Jewish and Christian people believe it to be. So that could very well be the case. But let's throw that out of the equation for right now. It's so simple to be able to say, well, the Creator told me He created everything. So therefore we believe that. What other possible reasons are there? Well, if you take a look at it, I guess you could think, well, we were all created. It's not like you just, were always there. And so if you're an ancient thinker, you could think, well, I was born. My parents were born. Everyone else was born. It didn't just, always exist. That always came out of something. So it got created. So therefore, the universe, the world also was created. I suppose that's got some compelling argument. This is one of the things that we're going to talk with experts about when we get into interviews. Say, hey, look, why is it they thought this? There could also have been a common source. A common source is a big argument out there, but what that means is, of course, that there was one underlying civilization or religion, and that it therefore bled into everything else that came after it, and it had a creation story, and so did therefore everything that followed. But the problem with that is that the communities, the people in the eastern part of the world, as far as the western part of the world, all over the place, all have creation stories. So a common theme or a common source doesn't seem likely. I'm going to explore that topic with experts as we go forward. One of the things I'm really going to delve into is the alignment between those theories and modern science. Right now, as we sit here and as we have sat here and for a long time, modern science also believes that there was pretty much nothing, effectively nothing, in the form of what they refer to as a quantum fluctuation. And then, bam, it suddenly exploded, if you will, and became what we refer to as inflation and the Big Bang. And so I'm going to definitely be digging into that and the alignment between how in the world was it that the ancient authors can be so aligned with what is happening now in modern science and where modern science is going with it. So that's going to be I can't wait for it. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to talk with experts on the Big Bang Theory, but also how that relates to these ancient authors and what they had to say and how they saw it. If you want to know more, we encourage you to go to our website. It's exusthepodquest.com. Learn more about these subjects. Ask questions yourself. Ask us questions. We'd love to have your input. Again, it's exusthepodquest.com. And so, as we like to say, you go there and we will be going ever forward.